Hi, my name's Mark Aronson, and today I'm with Valeria Romano, and she's in Bournemouth and Cambridge, and she's looking for deals in both. So Valeria, welcome to the session, the interview, the chat. What's your current project? What are you doing?
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me today. My current project is actually, we finished my current project. Is a bungalow. The last project has been a bungalow, is now on the market. Very light refurbishment, which is not usual for me. But this one was really a tidy up and put it back on the market. So it's been the fastest this far and the simplest, I would say, not easiest, simplest project.
Right. So what have you done to instead of like refurbs? It's just you grabbed it, tidied it up, and it's back out to retail. Is that right?
Correct. So we actually purchased the project cash. We did a refurb in 14 working days, 15 working days, and we bang it up back on the market. Now it's a private properties and it belonged to a hoarder. So it was really difficult. There was a lot of jobs started but not finished. And of course we didn't want to start from scratch. So we worked with what we had and we actually ended up with a nice product that is very resellable. It's not the highest end of the market, and therefore I usually go a little bit crazy on interior design. But in this one, I used what I had. I was very sensible. I knew my target market. I even visited the neighbors' properties, and is back on the market for a retail sale. So
Brilliant. So give us an. I don't want any secrets or anything, but what are the kind of ballpark numbers on the deal? Buy price, refurb, sell price.
So we bought it at 255. We spent about 9K and we are on the market 330.
Hang on, say that again. You bought it at 255.
Yeah.
You
We
spent
spent 9 grand.
£9 spend, and
Yeah.
now it's 330.
Yeah. On the market
So are you kind
237.
of pleased with that?
Yeah. Can I deny?
so,
Wouldn't.
during that session, you were saying we. So what do you mean by we?
So I work always with the JV. Well, not always, but on this one, I worked on with a joint venture partner,
Hmm.
and this is actually our first deal together. My previous joint venture partner, I'm still doing deals. In fact, I have the previous project that I did is for sale for the other joint venture with the other joint venture partner. But this one is a new joint venture partner, and it's been really, really nice to work with Ash.
Right. So let's go for because that was a new. He'd never done a deal before, had he? So what do you think he learnt on that project?
What not to do. As in, don't try and do the gardening yourself, Ash, because you're going to break yourself. And this is something that I learned in my few years of property flipping and refurbishment. When we start, we always start with that enthusiasm, and we want to do, also in order to save budget, we want to do as much work hands on ourselves. And in so doing, we might break our body instead of breaking the bank. And through uh, all errors and mistakes, I've learned that you can still keep your budget and your profit in check and not actually burn yourself out physically, because you don't really need to work on a project. You just need the right trades at the right time and manage your budget in the right way.
Absolutely superb. So a lot of people think when they're refurbing a project, they're going to do all the painting, stripping out all of the garden, and they're going to do all of the work themselves. And and you find out actually after your first one, you find out actually you're not. So brilliant. That's a brilliant lesson for a new JV partner, definitely. So,
Absolutely.
so what did you learn on this one?
What did I learn? I think it's more useful if we say what I've learned in general. And I have learned that it's very easy or simple if you know what you're doing to acquire a project, to do the work, and to put it back on the market. That I've learned in the years that this is the simplest part, because these are the parts where we have control over the process. What we have not control on is when we're selling the bleeding thing. When we're selling the property, it's completely out of your control. And this is where you really need to have done your due diligence properly on your exit. So who's your target market? Market to them. So whenever you do a project, always do it to your target market's likings, because this is the people who are going to buy into it. And that each and every project that have flipped has had some kind of quirkiness to it that I had to deal with at selling phase. So this
Yeah.
is big learning.
Right. So what's the quirkiness on this one?
So the quirky on this one is the fact that is because it's not a super posh area, which is generally I like to work with very high end areas. The quirkiness with this one is that we left pretty much what we found, and there is a hair source heat pump in it, and that I can already anticipate is going to create some problems because my target market is elderly people. And air source heat pumps are so new to the market that I doubt that an elderly person would buy into it. We need to kind of sell it to them.
Have you got so naturally when you're doing the sale, you'd have all the literature on air source heat pumps, right? And
Absolutely. And
yeah,
I found as I was scavenging through the rubbish, because as I said, it was a hoarder house, I found all the documents of the air source. We had the documents as in the installation certificate and the insurance, like the warranty certificate before we bought it. And that's another learning curve. Solicitors cut corners, and you have to stay on top of the conveyancing process when you're buying a house, and you have to keep your eyes wide open. And my solicitor had put an indemnity insurance on the fact that we didn't have the warranty for the air source heat pump. But because I knew already that that was going to be the quirkiness of this project, I insisted not to buy it unless I had the warranty. And basically, slowly but surely, we forced the vendor, who's also an elderly person, so it was quite a difficult process to go through. We forced them to actually acquire the document and have it in their hands, so to pass it on to us. So we do have all that. But during the refurbishment, I went through the rubbish that I found, and I found all the documents, as in the operation manual, the instruction manuals, all the little, like even the stickers that the buyer, that the installer gives you when they sold these machines, because it's actually a new installation. It was done in late 2021. So I have everything in order, and therefore that's how we're gonna sell it. Because we had already a viewer saying, "We don't know this stuff." Here, poof, here are all
yeah,
the documents.
absolutely.
So to make
So you said you dressed it, but you kept it minimally just with what you've got. So what does that mean? What do you normally do?
so normally I dress the property for the best outcome possible, as in I go really in depth on the dressing. Um, plans and pictures and frames, and I really try to create a feel for the space and all that. For this one, because it's, again, you target your target market. As long as it's comfortable and it feels homely, they're gonna be happy. So the staging is very minimal. So there is a bed in each bedroom, there is a chest of drawer in one of them, the other one has built-in cupboards, so nothing else, a rocking chair just looking out in the garden to create that feel that they can actually sit there and look out in their own garden. And then in the sitting room is just, there's not rug on the floor, but there is a nice sofa, a throw on the sofa, at the dining table set up for dinner with flowers, and then in the kitchen again is minimal with a bowl of fruit and your chopping boards and all that.
Hmm.
It's very minimal.
Yeah, I was actually speaking to someone the other day about dressing, and I suspect your minimal dressing is more than most people's interior design. To be fair, because
Well,
and what I was trying to convey was, and this was a client, and I was trying to convey that you're putting the pieces in the room so that the viewers know where they're putting the pieces, like the bed, the sofa, the dining table, and stuff, so they can imagine themselves in their new home, because it's their dream, right? It's their next level up of house that they're living on, next level
only
of
that,
home.
but when you dress a space, you give a sense of how good or how well your own furniture are going to fit in it, because our brain doesn't read space in absolute terms. We read space in relative terms. So if there is a three-seater sofa, I know that my three-seater sofa will fit in it. If there is a double bed in that bedroom, I know that my double bed will fit in it. So it's not only to create a homely feeling, it's also to give a sense of the space. And it's a misconception that, if the space is empty, feels bigger. It's a total misconception. It doesn't. It feels bigger if there is a point of reference in it.
Yeah, quite agree. Absolutely agree. So you work with other people all the time on your projects, right? So you're looking for more people to work with in the future, or?
Absolutely. I'm always open to working with new people. I don't really jump into a working relationship. I generally try to build up an understanding of the person, whether we align in terms of vision, values, what we want to do. And then if that happens, then we work together. I work with joint venture partners in the sense that I work with people who are happy to put some value in terms of working with me, and therefore we do a profit split. Or I work with people who are just passive investors. They have some money, they want to put in the project, they're happy with the return, they're not involved at all in the project, and therefore all they get is a return in terms of interests for their money.
Got it. Which is how it should be done. Absolutely. So what's the average turnaround time of a deal from initial sort of injection of cash or agreement to actually getting the return back? What's the kind of a ballpark turnaround time?
So if you think the initial offer to the estate agent, then take into account a 3 months conveyancing process on average. Sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. Especially if we buy cash. I have bought deals where we haven't done the searches because we bought the searches from next door neighbor. It depends on the deal. But I have done conveyancing in 2 months. I have done conveyancing that take 4, 5, 6 months. So, but from the moment of acquisition, I generally have already my trades ready to go. In fact, generally my trades pick up the keys from the estate agent and start stripping on the day of completion. So these are my terms. And the average time for a project depends on the entity of the project. Generally, my projects are a little bit more involved, and therefore, new rewiring, new planning if necessary, and they take between 4 to 6 weeks. The longest I've taken has been with structural changes, has been 7 weeks on a project, and it goes back on the market. And the shortest has been, of course, a couple of weeks for a turnaround.
I mean, 14 days that's fantastic. I wouldn't advertise it actually. That's bloody fantastic turnaround time. It really is. So you're not actually selling a hard sell pitch. Give me some money right now. What you're doing is you want to get to know the person you're working with. You want to get to know what their time level of skills is, level of money is, or whatever it is that they're bringing to the table before you actually jump in and work with them, right?
Yeah, I always build the relationship first. I don't want surprises. And I'm pretty sure the person who works with me, they don't want surprises either. So I think it's a matter of building a relationship. My first joint venture partner, I'd known them for about 2 years before we started working together. My latest JV partner, I knew them for about a year before we start working together. So it's always a matter of understanding, and if we can work together, if even if we can speak to each other without arguing, then it's a sign. Because there are people who, when we meet someone new, we are always showing our best side. I do the same. You do that. We always show our best side. And when things become a little bit difficult, which generally happens at any point in time in a project, then that nice side, a nice relationship might become a little bit, there might be frictions here and there. And the way we both deal with that is important. And I find that generally work well with people who, because I'm a creative brain, and I find that I generally work well with people who are a bit laid back, a bit engineering, number-oriented brains. And this is the type of joint venture partner I tend to get attracted to in terms of working relationship.
Brilliant. That's working the differences, right? Because if you have, I quite often say this to clients as well, when they have someone that's the same personality, you'd have lovely coffee chats, you might even become friends, but working together, that's going to be tough. So yeah. You're doing that right, I think. So if anyone wants to get in touch with Valeria, then there's a scrolling email address along the bottom. It comes to my desk. It doesn't go anywhere else. By all means, click on it or write it out or whatever and drop me an email. I'll put you straight in touch with Valeria. If you want to have a coffee chat at this stage, there's no hard pitch or hard sell. You're not going to get tricked into some sort of weird project you don't know anything about. It's a few chats and a few conversations, a couple of coffee meets, and then see if there's a fit. And if there is a fit, then of course you might choose to work together. If there isn't a fit, then of course you don't, and that's normal life. It's regular. It's business, you know. So if you want to get in touch, by all means, write out. It's mark@markeisen.co.uk, and I'll put you in touch with Valeria, and you can have your coffee chats at this stage and keep in touch. So it's just about a coffee chat now. So where are you looking for a deal right now?
I am looking in two areas.
You would be.
The thing is, I'm moving home. This house I'm sat in is actually sole subject to contract. Mm-hmm. So the idea is that I'm moving down the coast. So I'm sat near Cambridge at the moment. So I've been doing deals in this area I've been living here for 6 years. So I know this area quite well. It's my patch. And I don't want to stop doing deals here because I have a network of estate agents who actually bring me deals, the trades, my JV partners are around here, my investors are around here because I meet them and I like to have those coffee chats. So naturally, this is my hub. However, because I'm moving down the coast in the Bournemouth area, of course, I've been looking for deals there as well. I actually have a couple of deals that might close in the weeks to come. And of course, there I'm actually piggybacking the knowledge of the patch from my partner because he's been living there for 35 years. He's been buying and selling houses himself. He has his own investment portfolio. So I'm piggybacking his knowledge in terms of patch until I get my, because in this area now I actually can get into a house and tell you exactly what its value is and what it's going to sell at when it resells. Of course, this is a knowledge that I've acquired in the years. So at the moment, I'll do a little bit more desktop evaluation. I piggyback Craig's knowledge, his friend's knowledge of the market there, and what areas to go for, because I'm quite picky about my areas, and I have learned to be picky about my areas by doing frog deals in areas where I don't want to work. And so I have a couple going, and I actually had an offer accepted on one that was a cracking deal down in Bournemouth, and I had to kind of recede from it at some point because we great how can I say, a regret. I had to because I don't want to put my business in a stretch. So I kind of reversed back and I said to the sales agent, was really nice and understanding. I said, look, I'm in this position. I know the offer has been accepted, but it's best that I tell you now that I'm not going to be able to proceed because I've had other things happening in the background. And then we next deal I will do it with you and I hope you find a buyer. Oh, that's all right. I will find a buyer straight away for that one.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's kind of hit the nail on the head there. It's crucial to know the speed of your business and know what you can take on and what you can't take on. So sometimes you back out of a deal or you slow down, and I quite often with mine I'll get aggressive with the deal, as in I raise the offer price or I lower the offer price if I'm pulling back a little bit, and that times your business so you can actually time it to suit you because it's your business, not anybody else's, right? So. And
this is something I learned from you. So
you pass it on where you can.
These and the rest, what I'm doing is really thanks to you, Mark, and the way I'm working, and also the understanding of how to work with investors and how to choose JV partners, how to do a negotiation with a JV partner is all thanks to you. So big kudos to you as a mentor.
Oh, chuffed a bit. I'm glad to help. Well, this has been my name's Mark Eisen. This has been Valeria Romano. She's looking for deals and JV partners, whether it's time, skill, or money. It doesn't have to be just money. She does look for passive investors as well as active investors, and the difference being that a passive investor gives money and then gets a return back. An active investor actually puts effort into the deal. Now, it's up to you two, nothing to do with me, but up to you two how you decide to work. So if you want to work with Valeria or join on her next deal, or even just have a coffee chat and see if you can do something in the future, because you won't have a deal right this second she wants you to jump in on. It doesn't work like that at all. So if you want to have a coffee chat, by all means, pop an email below, or click on, put in the comments if you've seen it on YouTube, and then I'll put you straight in touch, and you can have a chat and a coffee chat. So, thanks for coming on, Valeria. Brilliant as usual. Absolutely brilliant. Love you to bits, and good luck with your sale of your bungalow. So that's the next one. Hopefully, to fingers crossed, hopefully it'll sell.
I've got
Really
actually
quickly.
4 financing on the go at the moment because I got
Oh,
bungalow, one before that one. I got the one before that one, and I got my house. So I got four.
so you got 3 deals on the move.
Yeah, 3 flips out for retail and my own house.
Superb, absolutely superb, brilliant. It's been fun to have you on, Valeria. Thanks for doing this. I'm gonna finish off with just get in touch, and we'll put you in touch with Valeria. You can have a coffee, and who knows? I mean, you guys agree the deal by with between yourselves. So my name's Mark Ironson, and I'll speak to you soon. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.